Hi, welcome. Now I am going to show you what is the difference between row column functions and rows columns functions. Okay, this is you can see the function name is singular row and column and rows and columns. Okay, so what is row function? Okay, let's see what is row function. Row function returns the row number of a reference. If you give a reference, it will return the row number. Okay, that is the row function. Okay, what is the rows function? Rows function returns the number of rows in a reference. Okay, the first one, row function, is the row number. Okay, and rows function is the number of rows in the reference. Okay, similarly, what is column function? Okay, column function returns the column number of a reference. Okay, what is the column number? Okay, columns function returns the number of columns in a array or reference. Okay, I will explain to one by one. Okay, now we'll go for this cell. What is the row value? Row of reference. So if you go for cell G4, it is returning the 4. 4 is what? The row number of the G4, which is 4. Row number of this cell, row number of this cell. Okay, so G4. So that is 4. Fourth row, it is sitting in the fourth row. Okay, so you can see here fourth row. That's why it returns 4. Okay, what is the column number? Column. Okay, now if I go for this cell, you will see the G4 column number of G4 is the column it sits in is G. Okay, so the column number is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, seventh column. Okay, that's why it returns 7. Okay, so the row function returns the row number of the cell, column function returns the column number of the cell. Okay, what is rows and columns of this cell? Okay, rows function returns number of rows in a single cell. Okay, for this case it is a single cell. Rows function returns the number of rows in a reference. Okay, for in this case it's single cell. Okay, so for this single cell, what you have is that G4 of rows, obviously it will return only 1 because it has only one row. Okay, so columns of a single cell. Okay, so it also, for column function, also returns the number of columns in the reference. Okay, so for in this case it's single cell, so it is the only one column. So the cell has only one row and one column, so it is more meaningful when it comes a range, which is like multiple cells. Okay, so now for this cell, we will see what is the row and column. Okay, row of this cell H5, enter, is 5 because it is in the fifth row. Okay, that's why the row number is 5. Whereas the same cell for H5, what is the column? Okay, H5 for the column, which is the column H. Okay, what is the column number for this cell, which is the column H? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 8th column. Okay, so it returns the number 8. Okay, whereas the rows and columns obviously is similar to the previous G4. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am going to find out how many rows in this array, the single cell, which is nothing but only one row. Similarly, how many columns? in this array, it's also only one column. Okay, only one row and only one column. Okay, now it comes a set of cells which is a range. Now we will find out what is the row number of this range. Okay, it will return from G7 to I11. It returns 7. Why it is 7? Because it returns the row number of there are multiple cells in this range. So which cells row number it will return? It will return the topmost and leftmost row, cells row. Okay, which is the first cells row it returns, which is nothing but 7. Okay, it starts with the 7th row. That is the meaning. Actually the range starts with the 7th row. Okay, similarly if you say column function, column of the range, what it will do, it will return the column number of the topmost and leftmost cell, which is the first cell. Okay, first cell's column number, which is nothing but G. So what is the number? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, seventh column. Okay, so you will see 7. Okay, now we will see rows function of a range. Okay, if you see the row function of the range, rows function, it will return 5, which means this range has 5 rows. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 rows. Okay, similarly columns function of the range, it will return 3 because it has only 3 columns, 1 2 3. Okay, so row function returns the row number of a range, column function returns the column number of the range, whereas rows function returns the number of rows in the range, and the columns function return the number of columns in the range. Okay, finally we will also do only one exercise, the final test. Row of without the reference, what happens? Without reference, what row function does is that it assumes you want the row number for the current cell or the cell where you are writing the formula. Okay, so it returns 9 for this case. Why? Because the current cell is in the A9, which is in the 9th row. Okay, similarly you have the column of current cell. Okay, you just put without the reference, it is the current cell. Okay, so it is 2. Okay, column number, because it is the B9, second. B is a second column in the sheet. Okay, so the column number of the current cell. So if you give without the reference, then it assumes the current cell. Okay, what will happen? Rows of the without reference rows, it gives the error. So you must provide the array for the rows. Okay, you want the current cells number of rows, which is meaningless actually. Only a single cell can have only one row and only one column, but still you want it, you must put C9, the cell name. Okay, if you put the cell name, it will return 1, whereas you no need to put a cell name here because it assumes it's a current cell. For the current cell also you need to put it the cell name for rows and columns. Rows, columns of D9. One. Okay, so you can use for a single cells the row and column to get the row number and column number of the cells. Range, it will give the row and column will give the row number and column number of the first cell, and rows and columns will return the number of rows and number of columns in the range. Okay, hope this video is helpful to you. If you like my videos, please press the Allen's button, which is already appearing in the video, to subscribe to my channel, and also leave your comments and suggestions, and God bless you.